So there's quite a bit of history going back on all this about the importance of the Klamath, certainly those early works in suggesting or proposing it as a salmon refuge for the Pacific coast, but up to the Salmon and Steelhead Advisory Committee first start and say there's problems here that have to be dealt with. Now in 1986, my organization worked very closely with then Congressman Doug Bosco in pushing ahead with a Klamath Basin Fish and Wildlife Restoration Act. That act, unlike the Trinity, unfortunately, was never properly funded, but nevertheless, I think some important things came out of it. First and foremost is it provided for more stakeholder participation in some of the earlier acts, certainly the Trinity and some of those others. So that was the first thing I think it was really unique about that. But also out of that act was the restoration program, and there was a good restoration program developed. So the reason I'm mentioning that now is I don't think we have to come in and reestablish or have somebody from a university or something come in and reinvent a whole new restoration program for us. We have a pretty good program, probably updating it, but we have something good there to work from. Second thing about that, what came out of that restoration program was the development of the CRIS program, the Klamath Resource Information System. That's a very good program. And again, I hear people talking about, well, we want to go in and do GIS or reinvent these information systems. Well, folks, you've got an excellent restoration or resource information program right there. So we don't have to go in spending money on a new restoration program or a new information system program. We've got those. We've just got to build on them now. Carrying over to the 1990s and Matt just finished talking about, my organization was the lead plaintiff in California in seeking to impose the TMDLs. We weren't originally looking at the Klamath. We were looking at it basically a series of 20 rivers in the state, beginning with the Gualala down in Sonoma County, but to establish those TMDLs. But I think the TMDL process is going to be very important to us as we work through and begin restoring this river system. And it's now that we're doing it, and I think the timing is good because here the state board is up here and working with Oregon to develop the TMDL for the Klamath. At the same time, we're looking at coming in with some federal and state monies and even some private monies to start fixing the basin. So I think that this convergence is good. We're also, of course, involved in 2002 in the litigation on the flows. And again, I think this all coming together because just recently the National Research Council was out here. So those things are all happening together. And then, of course, there's the FERC process, which was talked about here earlier. And that really gives me a lot of optimism. I think all these things coming together, that in fact we can fix this river basin and we can have fisheries, so we're not going to be looking at this very sad situation that we've had for the past 3 years out on the coast. One of the things that's really critical to us, however, though, is that, well, we're looking ahead, and I think the dams will come down. I'm pretty optimistic. I don't see how they cannot come down. I think we're going to, and it's already been addressed, fix some of the water problems, and we're trying to work to make sure that it can be done in such a way that's not going to harm agriculture in the basin. I think those things are going to happen. The critical thing, I think, for us is to see how we can get through for the next few years to make sure that both there's fish survival and fishermen survival. And I think to doing that is looking at some of the immediate things that might be done in river to fix the Klamath, just looking particularly at what can we do to perhaps minimize the parasite infestations that, of course, have been just deadly to those juvenile salmons. Proceeding, of course, with the TMDLs. Another thing that's very exciting, and really I've got to credit the Oregon Salmon Commission and OSU for this, and this is the genetic stock identification, even though it began when we were working with the Bodega Marine Lab some 15 years ago. It's really been, I think, the folks at the Oregon Salmon Commission and OSU that I think have helped really push this, and that's going to be helpful to us as well. And then finally, I think something that's going to be, we're hoping it's going to, the Pacific Council put in this year, is going to be their so-called Amendment 15 to the Salmon Plan, which would provide for de minimis fisheries. Fisheries as such that would not harm the Klamath Basin resources, but allow at least for some minimal fishing while we try to proceed with the long-term restoration. So that's sort of a short update where we are, and I think I'm okay for time, right, Zara? Okay, great. Thank you very much.